YouTubers, this is Shadow, and I'm bringing you another From the Depths tutorial. Today we are going to be looking at missiles and torpedoes and everything about them. If you guys saw my previous videos and liked them, awesome, thanks. That's what I'm here to do, is make some awesome tutorials for everybody. So let's jump right into it right here. And missiles is the first thing that I ever did. So this is a lot of fun to me. I really like using missile systems. I'm going to be showing off a turreted design, as well as a stationary design, different sizes, and how they eject, and I'll even be going into torpedoes and this is going to be a bit of a long video like my other ones, but you're going to learn a heck of a lot, so I hope you guys enjoy. We're going to get right into the meat of things. This is a turreted 3-missile or 4-block missile design. Basically, it's a heat seeker missile for aircraft or ships, primarily aircraft, and yeah, it's a fun little design, and we are going to make it because, hey, why not? But first, I'm going to show you how it works. So the AI is all hooked up there. Let me remove. I'm going to break this so that this one doesn't fire. We don't want to show this one off quite yet, right? So, alright, let's load in. What? Let's see. Let's load in a Shrike. And they load in over there, and this is what we're gonna make. Something quick, easy. You can put it on a starter ship, and it's going to attack. Now, as you could see, it went after the wingtip. This particular plane, if you look on the left wing there, it has a heat decoy. So those missiles are trying to go after the heat decoys, which as soon as the heat decoys are done, she goes after the engines or the main ship. As you can see, boom, 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 she starts to die. And that is the fun of a missile system. Now, the turret that I'm going to be showing you is actually going to be more effective than this one. I just wanted to show off kind of this turret. This is actually a precision turret, which I don't really recommend for missiles, and that is I'll get into that and explain that in a little while, and you'll see why. So let's fix this one and watch this one destroy the heck. Yeah, see, you can make something really cool like that, and I'm going to show you how to do it. But that little Shrike's going to die now. And should be dying. There it goes. Anyways, while those missiles are fighting the Shrike, let's get into building. Alright? There you go. He's dead now. So first, like I said, this here is a precision turret design, and there's actually a better design for it. Let's just drop a metal beam and down to new object, and you're going to do your 360-degree turret and a regular 360 turret. And the reason you want to use a regular 360-degree turret for missiles is because regular ones go up and down, as well as your 360 degrees. So for a missile turret, it's almost a necessity, in my opinion. So let's see, we got that. Now let's take a look at our missiles and torpedoes screen. Just like cannons, your missile 6-way connector is everything missiles. Everything pretty much has to connect to this, or start from this. So You can do this one of a few different ways. If you're doing a missile platform, you're better off putting beams on the platform just to give yourself some more room. So I'm actually going to do that real quick. And let's see. Boop, boop. Alright, that's the start of our platform. And missiles and torpedoes, right away I'm going to drop the 3 6-way connectors and a missile controller. Now, one thing to note about a missile controller versus the 6-way connectors, you cannot attach a 6-way connector to the rear of a missile controller. It just won't connect. You have to do it from the sides or the front. So, yeah. Anyways, so we have our 6-way connectors here for a little 3 missile turret. From here, we need to add launch pads. Now, you can change your launch pad direction any way you want, and you can connect them, you know, kind of like that, and it's still connected. Now, you don't have any, there's no ejector cylinders or anything like that, but for a turreted design, usually you want them like this, facing this direction. It's just kind of what works best for them. Now, if you're hard mounting them into a ship, inside of a ship, and want them all armored up, then that's when you're gonna wanna, you know, put them like this. You know, put them facing upwards, and you can put them along the sides of a 6-way connector. It's not gonna hurt them. So it's just kind of fun to mess with. Alright, the next thing you're going to need is the missile block themselves. And these, I'm going to go through and see how I can change the direction of how it kind of looks there. And that you can change it either any which way you want. Yeah. For this particular design, though, it looks more natural to have it facing down like this. So, and over there I have just 4 blockers, but here I want to do one 4-block missile and one 3-block missile, or sorry, 1 4-block and 2 3-blocks, just to show you a little bit of a length differential here. So when that's done, you don't really need to worry at this stage of creation about setting up the missiles themselves. I usually wait till last to do that. If you wanted to, you could stop right here, but I do recommend putting an ejector add-on because it'll eject them much faster. Basically, it catapults them off the launch pad, and then you can basically and you can do some really neat things with the ejectors, as well as, you know, just getting your speed up quickly, and that's always a good thing. And next, let's put the identify friend or foe on there. Basically does what it says. Make sure it makes sure that you're not aiming at your own chips. And then I usually always put staggered fire add-on on my missile systems. Now, it's almost everybody does, and the reason for that is especially when you're starting to have a lot of missiles like that design over there, if they all eject at once, if someone has an anti-missile laser system or a LAMS, if they hit one of your missiles, they will all blow up because they are too close to each other. So that's why you want to add the staggered fire add-on. When you first place it, it comes stock with a 0.1 delay, and you can hit Q to change it up to, I believe it's a half a second in between each missile firing. Or you can just do a straight 0 delay. So yeah. For this purposes, we're fine with a 0.1 delay. Yeah, it's not going to hurt it or nothing. Now, one thing to note is missiles, the way that I'm going to have them set up, have a 60-degree firing range. So if you're going to set them up like I do, you're going to have to set your AI up here. The required accuracy before firing. You're going to want to set that to roughly about 58 to 59, somewhere between 55 and 60. I like to be a little less than 60, just in case it's more accurate, basically. So we're going to do these 59 and make these numbers down here are your kind of your weapon selectors. So 1 through 5 or all. And if your character is sitting close enough, you can kind of change all that. But yeah, alright. Now we're going to place the AI to make this thing fire itself. And to do the AI, I explained this one in the last video, but I'll do it again. You're going to want your local weapon controller. And you do not... Oh, it has to sit on top of something. So, oops. Alright, back to the AI, local weapon controller. You don't have to have it... I'm having technical difficulties. Let's see. We all make mistakes, right, guys? I think I know how to solve this. I'm just going to do it like I did that one. So we're going to build onto the turret here, and we're going to add some more metal blocks. Just need one there. And now we're going to drop our local weapon controller. And now, as you can see, it's controlling one weapon. Woohoo! That's a good thing. Now we're going to add a failsafe on there, and you have to add, in order for it to transmit, you have to do your wireless receiver. Otherwise, it will not transmit to the AI mainframe. Now, if you watched my previous video, this is, like I said, this is going to be redundant, but if you didn't, and you don't know about how to set up an AI, I'm going to go over it real quick. To set up an AI, you got to go to the AI mainframe, which if you down here, top left, plop that down, and you have to have a wireless transmitter right on top of it. And the wireless transmitter does what it says. It links up to 5 channels, so you can technically have 5 different AIs doing 5 different things. And you can change the channel by going up to it and hitting Q. So as you can see right now, we're transmitting on channel 1, but I want it to transmit on channel 2. And I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to tell this receiver to transmit on channel 2. That way, this AI is controlling that weapon. And then you go to your AI card slots, and basically your target prioritization, aim point selection, and tracker target association are what you're going to want on there. But to get them on there, you got to put your AI card slot left and rights, or up, down, whatever ones you want to use. I prefer the left and rights. And I put 3 on there, and slap these suckers on there. And then normally with a ship, you're going to want to be adding a naval AI or a sailing AI if you're using the sails feature of the game and building using sails, and patrol. That's just so you can set up more advanced things, and then that way your ship is fully controlled by the AI, and the AI is pretty stinking accurate. But anyways, AI setup, weapon setup for the most part. And yeah, so we're gonna go in to the turret here. You can mess with the settings here. I haven't messed with them too much. I haven't really felt the need to mess with them too terribly much. But I guess you can make these turn faster and do different things by messing with this. Not really. Just, I don't know, just figure it out and see what you want to do. Required accuracy degrees before fire. I mean, here is where you're also going to be setting up, you know, you can set it up the same. I would do this one a straight 60 degrees on the turret itself. Your main weapon AI should override this. So, yeah. But anyways, so everything looks like it's set up. And I'm going to break then. No, I'm not going to break anything. Nope. Alright, let's load another Shrike in. Because I think I messed up. And I did. See how my turret's not turning? Now if you're mounting this to a ship, you'd want to put the turret a little bit lower, and you're going to want your AI directly underneath your turret. And that is so that it can that means your one weapon AI will control both your turret and your AI, your weapon AI. But your weapon controller will only show that it's controlling one weapon at that point. So it's kind of weird like that. So yeah. But let's see here. Let's target that, and let's add another metal block. We're gonna get fancy. Or no, you know what? I could do this upside down, I think. Local weapon controller. And she is upside down, and she's facing the correct direction. So now she's controlling one weapon. We're going to plop our failsafe and our receiver on there. And now, if I load in a Shrike, see how she works now. And you notice the elevation. What that's good for is if that Shrike comes up and over, it is able to go much, much, much higher, and it can get within that 60-degree radius, and that is a very, very, very good thing. Yeah, you want to be in that 60-degree radius. Now, because I messed up on my AI setup, I'm being limited by that weapon controller, but that's all right. I mean, you guys get the gist of it, and you'll be able to do better than I did. So now let's actually go here to the missile launch pad, and let's take a look at the missile itself. Your missile setup has a ton of options. The different things you can put on the missile itself is on the right hand side. Now every missile block, the little red things that you put on there, that will give you 2 items to mess with here. So excuse me. So it's basically the more you have, the bigger your missile is going to get, and you get 2 per. So being a 4-block missile here that we are looking at, we have 8 things to mess with. First thing I wanna note here, your thrusters must always go at the top, whether it's the ones for torpedoes, the torpedo propellers, or the short-range thrusters. They have to be at the top. Your targeting stuff has to be at the bottom. The missile it's kind of backwards in my personal opinion, because I think of a missile from bottom up, but everything is just reversed in the build screen. So right here we have our short-range thruster, and you can set the whoops, that's a body. So you can set your short-range thruster to your start delay. Right now it's set to 0. Because we have the ejector add-ons on the missile platform, you don't have to have those at 0. You can set them to about a second, half a second to a second. you can set the duration up to 20 seconds. So you can make like long cruise missiles where you know, 2 or 3 thrusters on there, and you can really make them fly. I think the maximum range I've had one fly is almost 3,000 meters, but that's getting way too far out. You generally want to aim for like a 750 meter to about a 1,200 meter range on your missiles. It's just kind of a good medium to still be able to add a bunch of ammunition on it, still have it maneuverable and things like that. Now we're going to go on to fuel tanks. With this size missile and get the range that we have 2 of them. I'm actually going to modify this because fins are better to be farther apart, and 2, either at the front or the back of the missile. Now I'm going to bypass this target position prediction guidance for right now, and I'm going to go straight to the explosive warhead. Personally, I don't like the explosive warheads. I prefer the fragmentation warhead. And what it does, when it detonates, it launches 50 little bullets. Well, it says fragments, but it looks like bullets in the game. And from my experience, it takes a little bit longer to get a frag to go through the hole. But when it's inside, oh my goodness, it is wonderful to watch these things work inside of a ship and blow the living crap out of everything. It's awesome. It's amazing. Okay. So in your options with a frag warhead, you have your frag cone angle up to 180 degrees. Generally, if you've just got one frag, you want to set that somewhere between 20 to 40. Being set for anti-aircraft, I'm going to set the sucker to about 20-25. Just a better range. Now, when I do a larger missile, and if I have, say, 4 frags on one missile, I'll actually set them up to be 10, 20, 30, 40. Because if you have a really, really small frag cone on it, the direct damage that it can do to one block is extreme. And being able to, basically what happens by setting them like that is you punch through with your first 1 or 2 frags, and then your 3rd or 4th frag spreads out on the inside of the ship and does a lot of freaking damage, and that's always good. Now you can also set your elevation offset. So like for torpedoes, you know, you'd want to set it higher, not to 31, of course. For a torpedo, I set them to +1. Usually, and I've never set them to negative because missiles don't have a tendency to be facing up when they hit, and it just messes with things. And yeah, the most you'd ever need to do, in my opinion, is +1 for a torpedo. Your warhead arming delay, that's basically when you fire it, how long it takes for the warhead to be active. Leaving it at 2 seconds, I've never messed with it. That's fine. And then the ejection, azimuth, and elevation I will get into a little later in the video, but right now we're concentrating on missile build. Now this missile uses an infrared seeker, which, let me find that sucker. Infrared seeker. Alright, IR seekers automatically acquire a target in a 60-degree forward-facing field of view. They prefer large, hot targets and tend to aim at engines or jets. So this is basically a fire-and-forget weapon. As long as you can get it within that 60-degree range. It's really nice to use these for anti-air, or you know, if you're using a turreted design, it's almost recommended to use an IR seeker. It seems to be better, and IR seekers are better at taking out faster aircraft. And the reason for that is you can use target position prediction guidance, which is basically, it's going to try and figure out, okay, your aircraft's moving this fast, so we're going to try and move ahead to meet you, instead of like just trying to fly straight at the aircraft, have the aircraft pass it, and now your missile's got to chase it. The position prediction guidance is a wonderful thing. And I haven't really messed with the augmented proportional navigation guidance. It doesn't really seem to work, or I don't understand, and then quite a few people don't understand how it kind of works. So if you're doing this, the prediction guidance here is just fine. And then we're going to take a look at this 3-block missile. As you can see, much smaller. Got to put my fin down yonder. And then here, because it is so small, don't have the proportional guidance, but a 3-block missile was going to go much faster. Now, one thing when you are looking at your missiles, if you want to test how far they go, if you fire and then hit control, it'll usually look at and follow the first one that you fire. So this is my 4-block missile, and as you can see, the forward velocity is 80, and those 3-blockers are a heck of a lot faster. And it went about 850 meters before it ran out of ammunition, and before it ran out of steam, about 1,000 meters. So that's like a perfect setup right there, guys. I mean, it's really nice. And the 3-blockers have roughly the same distance, and they travel, like I said, faster. Now, if you want to see something of a larger cruise missile type, I can show you that with more of a torpedo design here. But first, we're going to go over to this sucker, because, yeah, that's all I'll explain. This uses a laser designation guidance. And if you look at your missiles, basically the aiming on this requires a missile laser emitter. These, you can spam fire this. And what I mean by that is, let me move my guy over here. What I mean by spam fire it is it does not actually have to be facing any particular direction to be able to fire, because if you see the green, there's actually something to aim at, and that's underwater. So I'm going to aim over yonder there and back up so you can see this awesomeness. And the missiles will automatically start to turn, because it wants to hit the exact spot that this beam is aiming. You cannot use the proportional guidance thing with this. It just won't work, won't do it. And let's take a look at this here missile design. At that point, you just need the laser designator receiver. And this one has all frag warheads all set up. Got, I guess, 15 degrees of elevation, or cone angle on these. And this is where we're going to get into the azimuth. How it ejects so cool looking like that is the ejection azimuths. And just for purpose, I'm going to show it firing one more time. That's just awesome. I love that. That's just freaking awesome. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to show it over here on this design. Now what you want to do, your ejection elevation, let's just send one all the way up. Alright, and we'll send this one all the way to the right. So, Now when I fire it, when I get over there, one of them should have launched all the way up, but there was an issue with it. Two of the missiles, or the two that I did that to, if you look at your short-range thruster, see the start delay? It's at 0. So if you want to eject them in a particular direction, you have to change your start delay. Now be careful doing this if you don't set any ejection. If you don't have these ejection cylinders, they'll like just launch out and fall because they're not getting any propulsion to them. So now check it out. Look at that. And now say, let's do something a little more advanced with that ejection there. Say I want this one to go all the way up, this middle one, and I want this one to go to the left. Now if you wanted to go more up really hard and to the left, you actually can't go 90 on both of them. Up seems to take over more than like your left or right. So I recommend about 70 degrees up seems to work really nice. And we've already got this one set to go right, so we're going to put the 70 degrees on here. And there you go. Now you can modify your up distance to make it kind of go how you want it. So they'll say that's a 20 degrees on there. And you know, just for shits and giggles, we'll do 50 degrees on the one on the right. So you can see how you can set the different azimuths. Now what that's really good for is on a system like this. You can actually enclose this entire system in your ship and tell all of these missiles to go straight up. And what it will do is the missiles will go through these missile platforms. They actually won't get stuck. And they will fire above your ship, as long as your ship's not too terribly tall. But I figure about 10 blocks on large cruise missiles is about the maximum down that you can have or whatnot, because they'll go up about 12 to 14 blocks or so. So yeah, that's just one thing to keep in mind. You can do a system like this and sink this inside a ship, completely armored and protected, and be able to fire all of these, or even in a plane, and make yourself one heck of a bombing plane. All right, now let's build a torpedo system here. We're gonna go to our missiles and torps. And we're going to do some big ones, right? So, and with this, I'm going to act like we're actually got it inside of a ship. So we're going to go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that's about right. Add a launch pad and missile block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops. Alright, so that's an 8-block long beast of a missile and or torpedo. For this purpose, it's going to be a torpedo. And actually at the end, I'm going to put a couple of cruise missiles. Why? Just because I'm thinking it's going to look cool. So, alright. Alright, if you hit N anywhere in your ship or anything, anywhere where you want it centered, you can start adding things and having it dual build for you, which is a sweet little feature that's in the game. It doesn't have to be centered on your ship, so that's just awesome. But now I don't need that on anymore. Alright. And with torpedoes, you usually want to try and separate them and have 2 ejectors. If you can't put 2 ejectors on it, that's okay. It's just fine. It's not going to hurt nothing. Personally, I like having 2 of them on it. It's just kind of personal preference type of thing. Alright, let's drop our IFF and our staggered fire and our missile controller. And you can see right away it tries to load in 8 block missiles. It's like, cool. So, I'm going to come over here and show you a really neat feature of missiles. I have created some torpedoes. And if I load an 8 block torpedo right on that, it'll load up the whole torpedo, and then I can go to edit and I can assign the design to all same length missiles. So now we have a whole bunch of torpedoes. Now this works for all of the same length torpedoes that are on one firing system. So say if I had this over there and I did that and I did it here, it wouldn't update the ones over there. So you have to do this once per missile system, which is just fine. But like I said, we want the 3 here to be torps. So I want my cruise missiles, and I have some cruise missile loadouts which I'm going to show you guys here. Alright, we're going to start with the torpedoes. As you're going to see, I have 3 torpedo propellers and only 1 fuel tank. And you're probably, if you've done missiles before but not torpedoes, and you're thinking, why in the world is there only 1 fuel tank? Like, that's just crazy and insane. Well, torpedoes don't use hardly any fuel, which is awesome. But as a side result, you have to use more torpedo propellers to get more speed, because water has a lot of resistance. And to be able to gain speed with that resistance, you add more torpedoes, propellers. And then I've got 3 fins on her. You have to add a ballast tank. If you don't add a ballast tank, basically your torpedo is going to float on top of the water, and that's not good, because an anti-missile system at that point will be able to hit it and destroy it, and you don't want that. Because right now LAM systems are not able to hit torpedoes. Now that might change in the future, or there might be some sort of a torpedo defense type of deal, I don't know. But I mean, you can change these all the way down to 10 blocks under, or a good general rule of thumb is somewhere between 2 and 3. If I've noticed at 3 you start missing some lower or higher floating ships, especially like in the campaign and stuff. So having it set at 2, 2.5 is a really good height for just a real good general torpedo. Like I said, got the fuel tank on there, and I have a safety fuse. And what that does is it'll stop the missile exploding on the vehicle it was launched from under any circumstances. That means if it decides to turn around at you, it's not going to blow up, which is good. And I have 1 turn on here, which what 1 turn does is it gives you, when it first launches, it will aim kind of in the direction you're looking. Well, not kind of, it will aim in the direction that you're looking. Only 1 time though. And what that is just great for is having an IR setup, because you can get that infrared seeker within that 60-degree firing angle that it needs to be able to lock onto a target and attack. So that's really awesome. And on a missile this big, I've added a camera for an IR seeker. So what this does is this can actually start telling your infrared seeker what blocks to aim at. Default, it wants to aim at hot things. For torpedoes, I want it to aim Yeah, just pretty much a particular random block. Because, yeah, I just wanted to aim at a random block. So, and we're going to go on. I've got 3 frag set up. Now remember before how I was talking about frag setups? I've got 10, 20, and 30-degree cones of angle with the offset +1 on each of them. And instead of having a frag on the rear, I've added an EMP warhead. These things are great for taking out shields without actually having to hit the shield. Or an enemy's AI, or any electrical component within a ship, or even an airplane. EMPs are great for. I can't recommend them enough, especially if you've got room on your torpedo or missile to add one in. Because if you're, in this case, when this hits and if this takes down a shield, well, hey, now my cannons don't have to worry about shielding in that spot. That makes life a heck of a lot easier. So, and we're going to take a look now at the missile, the cruise missile. Now I've got 2 thrusters on here because she is so big, and this is a longer range one. So my short range thruster, I've got her set to the first one here to a 2-second delay, and the second one I've got to a 21.5-second delay. So what that means is a half a second before this one is done, because it has the 20-second duration, this one will start firing. So you're not going to lose power on it, and that is awesome. I got 3 fins on her, a bunch of fuel tanks because this is a long-range missile, and I have 4 frag warheads. And again, I've got them set up 10, 20, 30, 40 on this one. And this actually uses a laser designator receiver. So I'm going to show how you can do a multiple system, basically combining that with a fire and forget. And how you do that is, yeah, just 6-way connector. You can do it anywhere. Let's add a bunch of them so it gets nice and high. And then you just have to add a missile laser emitter, just like over there. And then this sucker will auto target. So let's shoot these suckers and see what happens. Oop. Oh yeah, duh. Had to get in my character. Excuse me, sorry for that. Alright, so it fired. Missiles are going and doing their own thing. And yeah, torpedoes, you can see them from up top. And you can see how they're not too fast, and they're bobbling along there and doing their thing. Now, remember when I was talking about one turn? Let's aim that direction for the regular torpedoes, or missiles, and see how those torpedoes right away turned. So now they're aiming that direction. The second it's aimed, you can start looking around, and they're going to go along their merry way. And that's a good thing. Now, as you notice, missiles much faster. That's why you add the multiple torpedo propellers on a torpedo, and I recommend making a torpedo much larger than you would missiles. Like if you're using small missiles and like them, that's all fine and dandy. Use larger torpedoes, they do more damage, and you almost have to have them larger to go faster. So yeah, and something like this, I mean, you can armor this up, have this sideways pointing right off of a ship, and just kind of have fun with it. If you're doing a submarine design, you can actually put these missile systems facing upwards with ejectors on them to eject through the water and once they're above the water, you can have it set so that your thrusters start firing, which is a really, really nice setup for missiles. You know, guys, this just about covers missiles and torpedoes. If you have any questions at all, go ahead and ask them in the YouTube channel here. I'll try and answer them if I can. I'm a lot more active on the From the Depths forum, which there's going to be a link in the bottom to that post. And you know what? On this note, let's load in a couple of Dusters, maybe a Shrike and a Gotha. Let's just watch these new beautiful missiles blow things up. Which, of course, I didn't set an AI up with those. But yeah, things are getting blown up, and it's a wonderful sight. I like things blowing up. Okay, AI's dead, 2 damaged. That's awesome. Alright guys, well, you guys have a great night, and like I said, any questions or comments, just go ahead and ask them. And yeah, have a good one.